Hey everyone, the Motivational Professor here, and I'm going to give you my Sunday analysis on crude oil. So if you can see up here, we are starting, okay, if you look right up here, for those of you that are kind of brand new, okay, we are starting on the daily chart. Now, something that I want to first start with is I want to go here and I want to throw a Fibonacci retracement. Okay, I want to throw a fib level from here to here because I want you to see something. Okay, now we can clearly see, let's go ahead and mark this up, that we had the rejection here, okay, right at the 50 percentile, okay? So we're gonna leave that fib level up, and then we're gonna grab another fib level now from this high down to this low, and we can kind of see here, oops, I'm sorry, we're gonna see here the next Fibonacci level. So I'm going to keep that there for a reason. I'm going to come back to it here in just a minute, because I think what we want to begin to look for if this does go up is that we might see, price come up here first, maybe a minor push back down. But overall, I'm going to be pretty bullish on crude oil. So just kind of take a look at that. And then let's drop down to the 4-hour chart real quick. Okay, I'm going to drop down to the 4-hour chart, but I'm going to kind of get rid of these fibs for a minute. Okay, because again, I want you to see something. Okay, again, we can kind of see here on the trajectory, right? We've got we're down this way here, and then we're looking at a horizontal line here in the zone. Okay, so we kind of have price trapped in this triangle, right in here. So what stands out to me is this candle right here. Okay, this bullish candle right here. I think what we're probably going to see, and again, depending on the gap that may happen, that price comes kind of back down to take some liquidity, and then we kind of continue back up bullish on crude oil. Okay, so next what I want to do is I want to drop down to this 1 hour because I want you to see it from a smaller standpoint. Okay, so here, if you look here, again, we kind of seen that, right? We can kind of take this same rejection line now, and we can kind of just, on the 1 hour, we got to do this, okay? And see that we've kind of been floating off there. So again, I do believe maybe we'll gap down, we'll gap up, depending on where we are. Just take a look at this little alligator mouth of this, semi-triangle here to kind of see where we are at. And I'm going to give you some entries here in just a minute on a smaller time frame, okay? Because I want you to be able to recognize the chart patterns on kind of what's happening, okay? And then lastly is going to be this 15-minute chart, okay? So this is kind of what we're going to focus in on now. We're going to kind of go in here. We're going to zoom in, zoom out, so you can kind of take a look at where we are at now with price. So once price breaks to the top side, this trend line. So if we get some candle, to come up here somewhere, okay, unless it's the gap candle, okay, the gap candle does not count because then price will come down to close the gap. Okay, once we officially break that to the top side, then we're going to run higher with regards to price. So in just a minute, I'm going to give you zones, and then we're going to trade from zone to zone. Okay, if we do not break here, then we are going to, as this candle says here, we are going to come back down towards this area of 74.15, I believe, before we go back up. Because again, I think I'm going to be a little bit more bullish on oil. Okay, so let's go ahead now and go to the 4-hour. Let's wipe everything out because I want you to see how we're going to kind of mark up these zones here. So again, if you need to pause the video, please do so you can kind of follow along. So as you know by now, if you've been watching my videos, I like to kind of go to the line chart. Then I'm going to grab a horizontal line over here to the left, and I'm going to look for these areas that are kind of striking on a more than one time constant basis. And again, you'll get to the point where you'll be able to train your eyes to kind of do this just like I do this fast. And again, you can always clean these up, but I'm just looking for the more obvious ones. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and switch over to candles here in just a minute. So to me, like those are the real, big obvious ones that are striking right there. And then what I want to do is go back over to candles, right? you can kind of see here, and I can kind of go back and I can say, okay, yep. Everything here kind of is looking good. Okay. So again, these are the kind of the zones that I'm going to be looking at. And I'm actually going to give you one more to the bottom side, just off of view, which would be right here. Now, again, these are 4-hour zones. That means that you are going to, have much better play on the smaller time frame. Now, if we drop this down to the 1 hour, right, this is where if you want to, you can either add new zones or clean it up. Like, for example, right here, because we saw price reject, and then price bounce off, what I will typically do is just put another color, right? And that kind of tells me, hey, I need to be aware that this is an area on a smaller time frame. So for me, that yellow will kind of be the 1 hour. Kind of the same thing here. Okay, I have this exact same thing here. I saw this traffic to the left. I see the bounce. That's going to be a 1 hour. So depending on which time frame I'm looking at, I've already got some of these zones built up, on the 1 hour as well. And I think we'll put one more 1 hour right about here. Okay, so that gives me a visual for me to be able to trade from these zones when I'm looking at it. Because when I drop down to the 15-minute, now I can kind of see where I'm at. So this is where I was talking about before, okay, coming in here. Depending on what happens with the gap, right, what I'm anticipating that may happen, depending on where we gap, let's say that we do gap down, then this area here, this 75.38 would be a nice area to look at for a couple of reasons, and this is why. I'm going to go back over here. We're going to grab a Fibonacci level, and we're going to take this swing low to swing high, right? And if you notice, what is happening right here? And if you know this answer, well, I'm going to give you the answer, but I want you in the comments to tell me, what do you see exactly where that zone is? What is the Fibonacci level? So if you're watching this, I still want to make sure that you paid attention to this small detail, which could be a big detail, right? I want you to tell me, where is this yellow arrow pointing, and what is that major fib level sitting there? That is a nice area that if we come down there, this would be a nice area for me to pick up a buy with a stop loss behind the most recent low. But I want you to tell me in the comments, what is that Fibonacci level that we are looking at here? Okay, so I'm going to keep this Fibonacci level here on the 15 because this is what we're going to look for our entries. Okay, and then if we happen again to come down or just get that break, let's say we have no gap and we get that closure like we talked about up more towards the top, okay, and I'll put a green candle there, then once we have that closure, then we can expect that we are going to see 77.50, 77.80 going back up towards the top side, okay? But looking at this picture here, this is your short-term scalping trading opportunities. You want to trade from zone to zone. So I've given you 3-4 zones, 72.57, 74.24, 75.38, 76.66, 77.88, and 79.00. Okay, we should be trading within these zones coming up. That gives you 20 to 30 points per zone that you can take either as buys or sells in both directions. Okay, and that's super, super important to look at when it comes to it. Now, the last thing I want to look at, which most traders do not look at, is that weekly candles. We're going to go over to the weekly, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. What I'm going to do for a minute is that I'm going to go ahead and just close that for a minute. And I want to show you this on the weekly, okay? Because if you look here on the weekly, okay, there's something here that you should be able to pick up, right? Without me even kind of looking at it, what I want you to do, okay, is put a fib level on that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll delete that. Grab this fib level on the weekly. We took off from here. We came to this top, okay, and we touched that 50% right there, okay? And we can see this candle right here. And those of you that study candles, if you know the name of this candle right in here, you can also drop that in the comments just to see if you understand that. But all signs are pointing to, on the weekly, that we should, even if we do a little further coming down, we should continue to the top side. Okay, if we look at the technicals on the weekly time frame, right? My bias is that we could temporarily drop, but we should continue bullish from this point forward when it comes to crude oil. Not even looking yet at other fundamental news with some things that are happening with OPEC as well. But if you just look at the technicals part of it, we seem to be heading into a bullish direction, at least for this week, right? And then we'll reevaluate at the end of the week. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. If you got some value, definitely would just appreciate it if you hit the like button. And if you're brand new, you want to check us out on the trading side, definitely subscribe. Also, we do have a membership available for less than a cup of coffee a month. You will get extra analysis and charts that I will send privately to our members inside of our members chat area. So you can always check that out. Again, you can cancel at any time for less than $5 a month when people are charging thousands and thousands of dollars or monthly memberships of $200, $300, $400. I want to make this accessible to everyone. That's why it's not about the money. It's just about being able to give you value, but yet put a little bit of stake in it for $4.99 a month so you could take advantage of this and learn how to add some extra income with regardless of whatever you're doing in the job that you love and the job that you hate. It'll give you an opportunity to learn a new skill set or build upon an existing skill set. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.